So let's start. Um, and yeah, Sadanand, Darshan, and Rajat also have talked about some games that React is currently playing here. And yeah, now I'm going to talk about how React itself has come first as a game changer here. So let's start with the popularity of React. So, firstly, how popular is this React? About 40% of developers prefer React over other front end libraries and frameworks. So, here we can see all the other frameworks and libraries that could be used, but yeah, React.js is used by about 40% of the people. So, here we can see the popularity of it. Uber, Airbnb, Facebook, Netflix, Pinterest, Instagram, Shopify, Amazon. Yeah, I'm sure all of you have heard about all of these. So these are all the ones that prefer React, and there are many more, sure. So why is React so popular? It's easy to grasp. As like, if you just know JavaScript, then React is like you can hold it pretty much well. And it's also a well supported library, that is like React has its own library plus npm and such packages are also available. So it's much easier to use, like, yeah, we developers obviously prefer it. And it has reusable components. That's like one of the key feature of React. Like, we can just create a component and then we can go on using it how much ever we want. And another thing is virtual DOM. Like, if you just have a real DOM, it, how it happens in other front end libraries, and it goes on like changing whenever we have to modify something, the whole DOM has to be re-rendered. But here, once we have a DOM, then like the React will keep a copy of it, so that when we have to modify something, only that particular thing will be modified, and then the whole thing can be kept as the same. So it has a virtual DOM that is going to work on this. And React is easy to scale. Like, it plays the role of view in the model view controller as we know it. So it's very much easy to scale it. And yeah, we obviously know that it has a strong community to support it. And these are the key features of React. That is, first is the JSX. As we all know, it has the HTML structures and it can be included in the JavaScript code. So yeah, that's again going to make us developers pretty much easier to use it. And it has unidirectional data flow. That means like, the data will have one single direction of data flow. So if you have some data to be called back, we need to use the callback functions. So it again makes the whole application much, um, what to say, it will be much scalable. And another thing is, as the virtual document object model, that's virtual DOM, as we already talked about it. It's the certain model that will be modified, and yeah, whole thing will not be re-rendered again and again, so the time is always saved. And it has some extensions, like it supports server side rendering, that is Next.js and Redux, React Native, all those things are there. So yeah, this is what makes React the React. And yeah, debugging is also pretty much easier because we have the large community using it. So you just like post it on Stack Overflow and you just get it. And I hope you all agree on this. And yeah, it has component based architecture, that is, it has structures, like all the components will have their own structures that is completely customizable. You can even use class based or functional based, but recently functional based is much easier. And APIs, we can call over the APIs as we want. It has its own methods, like all the methods that we want. And the states and props are definitely there. So this is how the component based architecture can work in our own customized way. And now, like, is React capable of building scalable applications? So yes, ease of adding new code, changing the old one, and fixing the bugs. All these things are much, much, much easier in React. So this is what makes it uh, the preference for building scalable applications. And on top of that, how easy it is to add new people to React project. That is, Like even if you don't know React, if you just know JavaScript and if you just know HTML, that is the basic thing we developers all mostly know. So in that case, you can easily come into React project and start understanding and working on it slowly. It won't take you much time to pick it up. And if React is suitable for big and complex applications, that's the most important question. For if it is capable of building scalable applications. So yeah, due to the component based architecture that we discussed before, the components are reusable, so it can easily build big and complex applications because it won't have to use much of the memory or much of the time to render things, so it makes things much fluent. So this is why React is the key skill in the market right now. As you can see, all these companies occupying the market, and yeah, React is the thing that is in demand right now. And additionally, let me just give you a brief about a few tools that come handy if you use React. That is, first thing is Redux. As you all know, Redux is the global state management tool in the application, and like it has the store in which you can store the objects in in a like tree kind of structure, and then the reducers will be stored there, and you have the action that is going to change what will happen to your object, and then you have the reducers that are going to uh like that are going to specify how the state tree is transformed by the actions. Like first you have action and then reducer that is going to implement the action on that particular object, that is the state. And lastly we have Next.js. So Next.js is popular for mostly these six things. That obviously there are much more, but these six things are mostly the key things that make us prefer it. And yeah, first thing about it is hot code reloading. So whenever we have any changes and we want to save it, the moment we save it, it reloads it, so it automatically reloads. That's how Next.js works. And automatic routing is like any URL is mapped to the file system. Like when you have some files inside a folder, say page, then inside that the links are automatically mapped automatically, so the things will get routed. You don't need to route everything going on one by one. And another thing is server side rendering. Obviously Next.js is the thing that does server side rendering. So what how it helps us is like before sending the HTML to the client, it does server side rendering. So that's how it's going to work, even as a like it can play a role of backend as well. So with Next.js you can build a full stack application, as like React is just a front end library, but yeah, Next.js is going to be the support that will help you build the full stack application. And another thing is single file components. Like if you just have a file like style JSX, something like that, then you can just have it customized, and you can include all the styles that you want to implement for some particular components or even your whole application. In that case, that one file can work for the number of components you want. So this single file can work like a magic. And another thing is ecosystem compatibility. So yeah, the JavaScript and Node.js, these things are also supported by Next.js. And the last thing is automatic splitting. Like if you have some code, the code will get automatically splitted by Next.js, and it will load only that particular part of the code for that timing which is required for that particular timing. So this is how it will make things much faster. It won't take much time loading all the thing that you feed, and like the whole code is getting processed and all those things getting compiled and all. No, it won't take whole time for doing all those things. It won't waste our time for that. It will just load that particular part that is required at a time, so it's going to work very fast. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.